now. All right. Hallo, wie geht's es dir?
Hallo, es geht mir gut. Wie geht es dir?
Ja, mir geht's es auch gut. Wie heißt du?
Ich heiße Tim. Tim Götti probably shouldn't say that actually. Wie heißt du?
Ja, ich heiße Blaine. Ja, woher kommst du? And you could say like whatever. You don't have to say where you're actually
Hm.
from. Yeah.
Äh, Ich komme aus Ditzingen, 20 Minuten nach Stuttgart. Ähm, ja, woher kommst du?
Ja, ich komme aus Rock Hill, Südcarolina. Was magst du?
Von Schule oder von
Ja.
Arbeit oder was?
Arbeit, Arbeit.
Arbeit? Ähm Nicht jetzt, aber ich möchte, ähm, ein Meeresbiologie zum Studieren machen. Weißt du, was es ist?
Ja, ähm, sehr gut, sehr gut. Ich warte mal, das ist ich Arbeit und, Air Force.
Ach so, okay.
Ja, ja, ja. Ähm, hast du Geschwister? I think it's how you say that. You have siblings.
Äh, what is it?
Hast du Geschwister? I think I'm saying that right.
How do you spell it?
Geschwister.
Uh, wait, what does it mean in English? Do
You
you
have siblings?
Oh, oh. Ja, ich habe einen Bruder. Hast du einer oder nicht?
Ja, ja, ja. Okay, I put the 2 minutes. Okay, my German is very, very weak. I wrote that down in like, but yeah, let's finish this. So I have to do 2 minutes in German, and the rest of the 8 minutes can be just in English.
Yeah.
So let's talk about okay, what's something? So tell me, so you're from Germany, or somewhere from Germany. What is the major difference in culture between Germany and the United States since you've lived in both places?
Mm, I'd probably have to say, like, I don't know the exact word to use for it, but, like, social culture. Like,
Hmm.
Americans have a lot of that, like, walking down the street and you smile at a stranger. Germany doesn't do that at all. Like,
Hmm.
you would be weird if you did that in public.
Why do you think that is? I'm just curious.
Um, I mean, culturally, Germany tends to be more, like, introverted and isolated.
Hmm.
Um Whereas America is obviously not. So
So that like as I'm a college student and I'm just curious because like um so as you say Germany is very introverted and isolated. Does that really like translate over to like is there do there are there parties there? Do they are like social
no,
events
for
still as
sure, yeah.
common? Okay.
It's just kind of I think it would be more prevalent in, like, working environments.
Hmm.
Like, you don't really become friends with, like, coworkers super easily.
Okay. That's really interesting. Because like I'm a student at A&M. Do you know what the Corps Cadets is at A&M? It's
Isn't it like Boy Scouts kind of?
essentially, yeah, it's like Boy Scouts, but like but it's like the military, but Boy Scouts. It's like
Yeah.
it's really interesting because like I work with all these people, like quote unquote work. We like train together. It's like a fraternity, but
Yeah.
military and like
Yeah.
we live together. But it's really interesting they say that because like in every place I've ever worked, I include this as working too. I've become like really close friends with all of my coworkers, and I think that it's really interesting that you say that in Germany. Like, can you give an example of how like in Germany it's harder to become friends with your coworkers?
I think it's more obvious in, like, office work
Hmm.
where and it's not just Germany that does it, it's just there's a lot of other cultures that prioritize, like, respecting your seniors over, like, going out for drinks, stuff like that.
Yeah, of course. Okay. Um, okay. So what's another question? So what is when did you come to Texas? I'm just curious. Or America.
Well, that's a little so I was actually born here, but I did
Uh-huh.
spend a ton of my childhood in Germany.
Okay, okay,
So
okay.
and,
So
like, my dad was born there, so
yeah, of course. And so what would you say the major differences in schooling is from Germany and the United States? Like primary
yeah,
schools.
in my personal experience, it probably has to be the fact that you don't, like, move around in classes, like, the teachers like, you stay in your seat and the teachers switch into the rooms, and that was always really, like, the biggest difference as a kid.
Okay, so that's actually really interesting. So, like, what if you had to go to like a science lab or something, like, and do an experiment? How did that work?
Well, that's I think a little different because in primary school, there wasn't I mean, obviously, it depends on the school, but
Yeah.
there weren't a lot of things like that. I mean, mm, like, there's that whole system where for lunch, you just go home
Hmm.
and come back instead of here where it's just, like, you go to the cafeteria and you eat food.
Wait, there's no cafeteria for lunch? That's crazy. Like,
It's weird, yeah. Mostly
huh.
for, like, elementary and stuff.
Okay. How long would you say like your travel time to your school would be? Like, is it walking distance in Germany?
Yeah.
Or
Yeah, for sure.
really? So you don't have to
Yeah.
take a car to get to school?
No, it's, like, maybe the closest school to where, I usually stay is, like, maybe a 5-minute walk.
What? That
Yeah.
that's insane because like every single school I've ever gone to, like my high school, I'm from South Carolina, and my high school, it was a 30-minute drive to
No,
get to high
yeah, that's
school.
how it was for me here in high school too, like, 30-minute drive, and it's like, you can just walk. It's that's another thing about European countries compared to America is the
Mhm.
fact that there's, like, public transportation, walkable cities.
That's crazy because I've actually I've had the opportunity for a university trip to go to Berlin once. How different would you say Berlin is from the rest of Germany, or would you say it's pretty similar?
Mm, I mean, if you just look at it, it's pretty similar to the other big cities, but I do think Berlin is easily, like, the most diverse city in Germany in terms of, like, you know, race and sexual like, accepting sexuality and stuff like that. That's mostly what Berlin is known for compared to the other cities.
Because one thing I thought it was really interesting, like I was just walking around and I saw like a cathedral, and then like 2 blocks down there's a sex shop, and I'm like, that's
Yeah.
hilarious.
Yeah, yeah.
But so Um, what do you? What's so? I'm sorry. I'm trying to
No, you're good.
ask a random question. Uh, damn, I just stalled. Um, what in Germany? What do you think the most prevalent thing aside from just like not saying hi on the streets or being harder to a coworker, like harder to make friends with
Mm.
coworkers. What do you think the biggest difference is between America
Well,
and
I think
Germany?
I did say earlier the fact
Mhm.
that there's so much more public transportation,
Uh-huh. Yeah.
especially compared to Texas, because there's like literally one bus line in Austin, and that's it compared to like train stations everywhere, and the different train like S-Bahn and the regular subway train, and also like those like electric scooters that they have in
Mhm.
those there's more there's a lot of people that ride bikes in like rural cities. Uh and let me think about this for a second. Actually. I do think public transportation is a really big one.
Do you think, what do you, or do you think that the United States can, is it possible for us to have a similar method of public transportation that Germany does, or do you think that we are just too fundamentally different to have that?
Mm, I mean, the East Coast has some of it. Like New York has a lot of train stations.
Mhm.
Um, it probably depends on the state. I think mm, for I think buses might be the easiest like version of public transportation to s- easily ish implement into states like the what's it called? The what the hell is it called? The middle part of the United States.
Midwest?
Yes, Midwest, that's it. The Midwest and the South
Mhm.
could use buses. Um, it would, I think, take a lot of money and time, which is a given for like more train systems in especially the South because I think there's literally three entire train lines in all of Texas. I might not be exaggerating on that, but um there's some other aspects like the ticket system that I think would be really hard to do because America is not, if in my opinion, it's not super easy to just like put that there and expect it for everybody to like know what they're doing or like have them not get lost and stuff like that.
All right. Well, thank you so much for your time. I really, really appreciate you.
Of
Um,
course.
yeah. All right. I'm gonna stop recording.